I'm joining you today because I believe it's important we do everything we can to share as much information as possible during this difficult time. There's a lot of information out there, but this is designed simply for Atlantic County families to synthesize through all of the information and get you what pertains to you most. Well, it's now day 33, and like all of you who are sheltered at home, there's only so much Netflix we can watch and Monopoly that we can play. So the other day, my children questioned whether or not I can grow a beard. Anyone wishing to weigh in on whether I should keep my beard or not may type shave if you think it's that bad, or keep it if you want to see the train wreck continue. If you know anyone who may benefit from the information we'll be talking about today, retirees and families with a parent or grandparent who could use tips and guidance, or even veterans or others in the community who need assistance with unemployment benefits, please share this Facebook Live with them now. And as you may also know, I continually try to post information on my Facebook page. That's AARP-NJ, and the information we go over today is going to be posted, and we continually post it in the coronavirus update, which is designed for you. After my conversation with our guest today, I will provide updates on a few important issues, including, as we talked about, unemployment. So stay tuned. Now, we're lucky this afternoon. We will have a conversation with my guest, Christine Newman. She is a director of outreach for AARP-NJ, and she's here to discuss with you important information for all our families. During our conversation, all the pertinent information, phone numbers, email addresses, and information on websites we will be posting in our comments section. So please pay attention there, and you share that information with anyone you think may need it. Christine, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Senator Brown. Thank you so much for having me. I must say, I don't think I have yet hit my Netflix max. Still going strong, but it's getting there.
Well, ESPN helped us out with the Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. So we got 2 episodes of that and 2 more coming up. Well, first, if you could, Christine, please share with all our listeners and viewers a little bit about yourself and your role with the AARP-NJ.
Sure. I'm so happy to be able to connect with you and engage with the folks that we have joining us on Facebook right now. I'm actually a licensed social worker by trade. My background's been primarily in long-term care for the past 12 years, but I've been with AARP New Jersey going on 5 years now, and in my current role as the director of outreach, I focus on leading our statewide community impact and education work and team. And I also oversee our volunteer engagement strategy and our volunteer network. And, I always like to mention that because I'm not sure folks always associate or think about volunteerism when they think about AARP. And in actuality, here in New Jersey, we have over 400 volunteers across the state. And our organization at our origin is about volunteerism and community service. It was actually 60 years ago that our founder, Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus, was volunteering in her community. She was a retired teacher, and she was volunteering to do sort of these friendly visit check-ins with other retired teachers. And on one of these volunteer visits, she actually was called to check on a teacher that a neighbor was concerned about. And when she went, she found this woman living in a chicken coop in the back of this property. Yeah. And, when she started talking to her, the story was just so impactful.
Well, let me ask you this, Christine. And I understand, in addition to people who are retired, AARP can benefit everyone. Is that?
Yeah.
And what is your motto?
Yeah, so our motto is actually what we do for one, we do for all. So while at the core we are a service and advocacy organization for older adults, the work we do really does benefit and impact folks across the lifespan. And the things I'm going to talk about today, all of the things I'm going to mention, you can take advantage of. You do not have to be an AARP member to take advantage of them, and you don't have to be a certain age as well.
So I think this is important for everyone listening, and part of the reason it's so valuable, I thought, to have Christine with us, is while AARP obviously was founded and geared towards retired persons, at this juncture, all of the programs we're going to talk about are not age restricted, and you don't have to be retired, and it could benefit you, your friends, and whomever. And with that being said, Christine, obviously all of our families are making adjustments to our lifestyles because of the pandemic, and particularly with social distancing. And I wanted to start off talking about our seniors and retirees because, for example, they have been looking forward to getting out, spoiling their grandchildren, or going to church or attending a club meeting, and now can't. How do we prevent social distancing from becoming social isolation?
Yeah, I've heard that expression a few times. We talk sometimes with AARP about, we may be isolated, but that doesn't mean we're alone or we have to be alone. And, I think we know the social isolation health impacts, right? Like, studies continually show us that there's a connection between social isolation and loneliness with things like heart disease, depression, or high blood pressure. So I think especially more now than ever, it's really important to make sure that our families are staying in regular contact. Things like regularly scheduled phone calls, video conferencing, using things like FaceTime or Skype, along with text and emails. And let us not forget general old-fashioned snail mail, just sometimes sending a letter to a family member to let them know you're thinking about them. All of this, I think,
Let
can
me
really help.
let me ask you this, if I could, Christine. Are there any groups offering help to seniors on how to use the internet or offering phone numbers where they can talk them through it?
Yeah, so actually one of the things I'd love to share with folks is a resource AARP's put together nationally. I think when we talk about folks that are maybe at higher risk for social isolation, sometimes it's folks that, maybe can't use some of these virtual connection or, tech options. And so what AARP developed is actually called community connections. So there's two parts to this. The first, and I'm going to give out the website for this first part, it's AARPcommunityconnections.org. So this is actually a new site where people all across the country can go, and they can find or organize on their own an online mutual aid group to stay connected. So mutual aid groups, for folks who don't know, are really these informal groups of volunteers that come together in a community to really just help support that local network. So it could be something like a mutual aid group to help folks pick up groceries, provide financial assistance, or just lending some emotional support to your neighbors. So that's one piece of this platform, and that's that AARPcommunityconnections.org. The second piece, though, that I really think could be beneficial for folks that are concerned about isolation is our Friendly Voice initiative. So this is actually a free service. Again, it's for everyone. You don't have to be an AARP member. We have trained volunteers that are standing by to just provide a friendly call.
So let me see if I understand what you're saying. Is it anybody listening to this or anybody who knows somebody who's alone and may not even have necessarily family to talk to, there is a phone number that they can call, and there will be somebody standing by to speak with them.
Yeah, so I'll give out that phone number now. It's 888-281-0145. So that is available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And basically what you do is you call and then you request a phone call. So they'll ask you to leave your voicemail, your voice message, and what time you want to call back. And a volunteer will give you a call back to chat. And the other cool thing is you can actually schedule those on a recurring basis. So if you want to do, every Wednesday you'd like somebody to call you at 2 o'clock, we're able to do that. And we also have some availability in bilingual Spanish as well.
Habla español.
I don't, but we have folks there that do.
Un poquito. So now this community connection, is that limited to older families?
Nope, anybody can take advantage of this. I mean, I think it's absolutely beneficial for anyone who you're concerned about who might be feeling a little socially isolated right now.
Now, let's say somebody's listening and they're concerned that a loved one has a more serious mental health issue. Where should they go to get help for their family member?
Yeah, so for mental health services, we recommend the New Jersey Mental Health Care Hotline. That hotline number is 866-202-4357. So that's actually New Jersey's behavioral health information and referral service line. So the staff there, they have their experience and understanding in behavioral health care to really provide that higher level of emotional support for issues that might be related to COVID-19 or other mental health concerns. And that hotline is available 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Well, that's phenomenal. And you also have families who have loved ones who are in long-term care facilities. What, if any, are AARP's recommendations for these families who find themselves in this situation where their parent, their grandparent, whoever it may be, is in a long care health facility?
Yeah, so I mean, unfortunately, we know in New Jersey there's been a rapid increase in COVID-19 cases in nursing homes. So if you have a loved one in a nursing home, we actually developed a list of 6 questions that you should ask. You can find these on our website, which is AARP.org/coronavirus. But really, you want to be asking things like, has anyone in the nursing home tested positive for COVID-19? What's the nursing home doing to prevent infections? Do they have the staff and the personal protective equipment that they need? And then I think this one's really important. What is the nursing home doing to help residents stay connected with their families or loved ones when visitation isn't possible? Besides that, AARP also has put together a lot of resources that you can find on that AARP.org/coronavirus that are things like 7 ways to boost your loved one's morale during this epidemic if they're in a nursing home or in assisted living. And then I always like to just tell folks, if you are at all concerned, though, about safety or the well-being of a loved one in a nursing home, you should absolutely be reaching out to the New Jersey Long-Term Care Ombudsman. And that contact number for the Ombudsman is 1-877-582-6995.
Well, I also would like to share with our viewers, we've been in touch with consistently the New Jersey Department of Health and are assured they have survey teams now visiting facilities even on a more intense basis, more frequently. Moreover, I've been assured by the governor's office the state is developing a strategy to make sure we have robust testing in our long-term care facilities so those who are most vulnerable don't become neglected. Christine, a few weeks ago we had Dr. Brabson from Atlantic Care as our guest, and he stressed, of course, the importance of staying healthy, eating right, get some exercise, and in particularly, he talked about managing your underlying health conditions. These days, instead of a normal office visit for a checkup, your doctor may examine you remotely. And in fact, one of the laws that I sponsor was to make sure that the telehealth gets through and can be something, particularly now, that our doctors utilize. But this is something most of us are not used to. Where can families go to learn more about telehealth?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Talk about something that has just had huge growth, right, and expansion during this pandemic. And, I think it's a little bit of uncharted territory, right, for both providers and consumers that are trying to navigate telehealth for the first time. One of the things that I wanted to flag for folks is AARP is actually doing a series of regular coronavirus information telephone town halls. They happen every Thursday at 1 p.m. The phone number to join is 855-274-9507. And again, those happen every Thursday at 1 p.m. And actually, the one we did last week was exactly on this topic. And we had our experts on hand addressing questions and providing guidance related to how do consumers properly and effectively use telehealth. It covered the basics of what electronic and virtual services, lend themselves to telehealth and how to access them. So we actually have that as a recording that you can listen to right on our website, AARP.org/coronavirus. So I really encourage folks to check that out because there's some great information. On that same website, AARP.org/coronavirus, we also have a couple other helpful articles and tips. We actually have a step-by-step guide to telemedicine, which really talks about what are the things you need to do to get ready for your first virtual visit. Things like making sure you've checked and set up the tech in advance. Have you had a check-in with the doctor or his staff in advance to make sure the connections are working? Checking your insurance, to your point, because this is all so new and flexible and fluid, it's important that consumers are checking that their insurance covers telehealth in their area. And then things like practicing good security. What are the questions to ask the provider, too, to see are they making sure that your personal information as a consumer is staying protected in this new virtual space? So, again, I would encourage folks to check out all of that information around telehealth on AARP.org/coronavirus.
Well, one of the things that is horrifying to me is that one thing worse than the coronavirus itself are the jerks and the people out there who are trying to take advantage of this crisis, literally to steal from our families. First, can you alert everybody to the types of scams that are out there? And secondly, what can families do if they do spot a scam?
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely awful. I feel like, we could spend hours talking about this topic. And sadly, whenever we have a community crisis, right, whether it's a pandemic like we're seeing now, or if it's something like a natural disaster with Hurricane Sandy in our state, whenever something like that happens, right on its heels are an increase in frauds and scams, and con artists are always looking to capitalize on this. And unfortunately, one of the main tactics that con artists use when they're trying to scam someone is they're trying to build an emotion in folks, like usually it's fear. And so in situations like this, it's almost like the virus has done that part already, right? We're already all kind of acting from a place of emotion. Things are uncertain, we're concerned, we have fears about ourselves, about our families, and that just makes it really ripe for con artists. We have seen a gamut of COVID-19 related scams at the AARP Fraud Watch Network. So the Fraud Watch Network is another free resource. It's open to anyone. It's updated constantly with what are the latest scams we're seeing, what are the tips to spot it. So I want to make sure folks can check that out. And that's AARP.org/Fraud Watch Network, all one word. And then we also have a hotline that I'll share out in a little bit. But some of the things we're seeing around COVID-19 in particular are things like, we know there's no vaccine currently, there's no treatment or cure for COVID-19, but con artists are out there saying things like, we've got vaccines available, we have treatments available. Scammers are even offering coronavirus testing, but they're doing this with the idea of trying to collect your personal information. So saying things like, oh, if you need to get tested for COVID-19, here, click on this link and provide your contact information, or maybe your Medicare number or your Social Security number. And so it's a phishing scam, because once they have that information, they can use it to submit false claims, or they could use it to really start building a profile. We know now that Congress has passed and the president signed for the up to $1,200 stimulus payments to Americans, scammers are trying to get in on that too. So sometimes what we're seeing are scammers calling or texting saying they need bank account or personal information to help verify.
If I understand, Christine, basically what you're saying is anybody who gets any kind of a text, an email, a phone call asking them for personal information, do not give it out, and make sure if you're a senior or a retiree, you let your family members know, or your friends. And they can also, if they feel that somebody is wrongfully trying to get information from them, they're going to be smart now, they're not going to give it out. But what site do you have that they can go to report or learn more about it?
Yeah, so you can absolutely report and learn more at our Fraud Watch Network site, which is at AARP.org/FraudWatchNetwork. And we also have a hotline where folks can call if they think that they or a loved one has experienced a fraud or a scam, and it could be related to COVID-19 or not. So that hotline number is 877-908-3360.
Well, Christine, so far everything you've shared with us, I believe, is invaluable. I was wondering, is there anything that we haven't covered that you think our watchers would be interested or is important for them to know?
I think we covered a lot of ground. I think I would just, I know I put a lot out there already. The things I just want to make sure folks know that they can tap into right away are these regular teletown halls that AARP is hosting every Thursday at 1 o'clock. That you can join at 855-274-9507. And then our community connections, which I just think, again, from a perspective of social isolation, is a great resource for folks. So you can call 888-281-0145. And I think besides that, if I could, I would love to just give a little bit of a shout out, because we have some great AARP chapters down in your district, and I know they're not meeting right now. That they're staying home, staying safe, helping to flatten the curve.
Sure, if you want to give a shout out, you've certainly earned that right. It's like dancing on air when I was a kid. Everybody gave shout outs.
So we have an Obsequion chapter, Ventnor City and Pleasantville as well, and they just do tremendous work in their communities. Do a really great job to help older adults in those areas stay connected. And we're excited to when we can kind of eventually down the road be back to whatever our new normal is going to be, and be out there in the community again doing that work.
Well, Christine, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your schedule and providing all that information, and we're putting it up in our comments section as we go along. So please just accept my thanks on behalf of myself and everyone listening. We truly appreciate your hard work.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, you have a blessed day.
You too. Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, we told you in the beginning we were going to give you some more updates after our conversation with Christine. And the biggest frustration out there for each of you and me are the delays and lack of response from the unemployment office. So I know you've tried to call the Department of Labor's phone line and no one there answers. Unfortunately, the department does not have any other phone numbers. Literally, hundreds of you have already called my office about your claim, and we are working to get your benefits as we speak, and we've been in touch with the Department of Labor continually. In fact, recently when I spoke with Labor Commissioner Sarah Angelo, he assured me, and I repeat, this is very important, he assured me that you will receive the benefits you deserve from the date of your unemployment. So although they are slow to respond, we are going to keep working together to get it done, and know in the back of your mind that it is going to date back to when you were first unemployed. I also want to share with you now some information that I believe will help your claims. One thing that we have learned is the unemployment application insurance questions, it can be confusing at times. And all of you are honest and good, and you want to answer every question as accurately as you can. In that regard, many of you are furloughed from your job, and once your employer opens up, you're going to go back to your old job. So you're technically not looking for a job, and when that question came up, you may have answered no when asked if you're looking for a job. Now the problem is that would flag your application. So I spoke with the Department of Labor and I asked them, I said, well, why would they go out and look for a job if they know they're going to go back? And the whole point of the program in the first place was to cover them during the furlough during the coronavirus. And the Department of Labor said for me to let you know, when you answer these questions, filling out your application, even if you are not actively looking for work because you plan on returning to your job, you would say yes. So unless you're too physically ill to work, and when the question is asked, were you able and available for work? Unless you are too physically ill to work, the answer to this question should be yes. If you are out of work temporarily due to a closure related to the coronavirus and expect to return to work, say yes to this question. Question 2, were you actively seeking work? If you are waiting to be recalled to your present job or delaying your job search until this natural emergency ends or subsides, you should answer yes. Question 3, did you refuse any work? If you refused an offer of work simply because of the coronavirus pandemic and the fears and concerns related to it, you should answer no. Now, I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions, as I told you, we've been working with hundreds of people. We're here for you. That's our job. That's why we ran for office. We're happy to do it. And here is our phone number, 609-677-8266. In other news, Atlantic County is currently taking appointments, as we've talked about before, for virus testing. The next test date is Tuesday, April 28th and Thursday, April 30th next week behind the Hamilton Mall from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. County residents who are symptomatic and have a doctor's prescription may make an appointment at www.atlantic-county.org /COVID/. We're also going to put this information, as we did with everything else, on the side in the comments. Now, if you don't have internet access, you may call 609-645-7700 extension 4381. Some of you may know that through FEMA, the organization has built a 258-bed hospital, which is now open at the Atlantic City Convention Center. And its purpose is to accept any overflow of non-COVID patients from our area hospitals. And this is just to make sure that we have the capacity we need, that we're ready, and that we're prepared. This includes an on-site pharmacy and testing lab. And in working with the governor's office, Governor Murphy has assured me it will be open for the foreseeable future to meet the needs of our families and residents here in Atlantic County. And let's hope we don't have to use it. Now, student loan relief is another area that we have received a lot of questions, so I want to update everyone. Initially, under the Federal CARES Act, students with federal loans owned by private lenders weren't eligible for assistance. However, New Jersey residents with commercially owned Family Federal Education Program loans or privately held student loans are now eligible for relief, such as forbearance or even waiving fees. Please, if you have any questions, you may call the Federal Student Aid Information Center at 1-800-433-3243 if you need more information. Now, if you're having trouble with a student loan servicer, you may call the New Jersey Department of Banking and Insurance, and their number is 1-800-446-7467. Now, we also know we have a few municipal elections coming up. And with this coronavirus, it's really caused the problem for people to congregate. So as you may be aware, Governor Murphy issued an executive order requiring the May 12th municipal elections be conducted entirely by vote by mail. So this decision, what does it affect? It affects a change of government referendum in Atlantic City and the municipal election in Ventnor. Beginning on Friday, April 24th, the Atlantic County Clerk's Office will be mailing the vote-by-mail ballots to registered voters for the Atlantic City special and Ventnor May municipal elections. Atlantic City and Ventnor registered voters will receive the following items in their vote-by-mail package. They're going to get a ballot, a certified envelope, a prepaid postage return envelope, vote-by-mail ballot completion instructions, and a letter explaining why you are receiving this ballot. If you have any questions or don't receive it and you know that you are a registered voter, you can call the Atlantic County Clerk's Office at 609-625-4011. Well, the weeks just keep rolling on. We're getting through it. I just want to thank all of you for being so great, for dealing with this sheltering at home and quarantine, because we are making progress. We are seeing overall numbers throughout the state start to level off, and we know that working together, we can beat this thing. I also want to remind everybody that on my Facebook page, there is the Coronavirus Resource Center, and if you go on it, we constantly update it with information for you that may be helpful. And if you have any other questions, we are here to help. You call my office at 609-677-8266 or email me at senchriserowm@njleg.org. And before, if you is so horrible, it needs to be type shave. If you want to train wreck continue, you can type let go. Now I'm going to do best I can to bring the most accurate information as quick as I can. Next week, Wednesday, 12:30, your comment. And thank you all for faith, hard work, determination. We're going to get through this. God bless you. We love you.